the show, the king of our stacked deck, Penn and Teller.
We get asked pretty often how we get into magic, how we get into theater. And I don't ever really answer. They don't want me to really answer. They want to hear about Houdini and swindling and trickery and honest lying. But the truth is more complex. How I got here is not very linear. I spent summers in the woods camping with my parents. I walked in the woods alone. I explored. And that's where I discovered the prop that would make me who I wanted to be. The prop that put me in this show. It was a beaver trap. I knew it was very dangerous. I knew it belonged to someone else, but I picked it up carefully so as not to crush my fingers. I brought the trap back to my parents. My parents had taught me not to steal. My parents raised me well, but my parents hated trappers. They hated that image of a trap designed to not quite break the bone so that tortured, panicked animal would not be able to chew its own leg off too swiftly. So to my parents, I was not a thief. To my parents, I was some sort of hero. In their minds, I'd saved an innocent animal from a horrible death so I could keep the trap as a reminder of the cruelty of some of my species and a promise that I would grow up different. I didn't care about any of that. I just wanted the trap, and now it was mine. When summer was over, I brought the trap back to our home. I kept it in my room. I oiled it. I decided that I would become an expert. I got my first job. I was route supervisor for a small giveaway newspaper. I did spot checks going door to door, making sure the other paper boys had done their jobs properly. And I bought traps. I bought mouse and rat. I bought prairie dog and weasel. My second job was filling gumball machines. I bought otter and wildcat. I learned everything about the traps. I learned how some traps are set in the water so the animal will drown. I learned how every trap is marked with a number that indicates the strength of the jaws. I learned how the chain coming off the trap is not hooked to a tree, but rather to a loose log called a drag, which confuses and tires the animal without giving it the necessary leverage for escape. I kept my respect, but I conquered my fear. After I'd read every book on the subject in my local library, I sent away for books and catalogs in the back of Field and Stream magazine. Whenever a book arrived in the mail, as soon as I'd open it, I'd write in the front. I'd write the date, how much I paid, the address to which I had sent, and then I'd write my name. And after my name, I'd put a comma. And after the comma, in quotation marks, I'd write, King of Animal Traps. older, I got a job washing dishes for a whole summer, and I bought bear. Finally had a bear trap. It was really big, a little rusty. It was used, an antique, a piece of Americana. The jaws of this trap were so big, it would ruin the pelt of anything smaller than a bear. To set this trap, I needed a tool. It was too strong to set by standing on it. The mechanism was too powerful to be moved by full body weight. I needed a tool. I needed a tool to hold down the spring, a tool to pry open the jaws, a tool to put leverage back on my side. And I mastered it. I was not an animal, I was human. And I had 2 thumbs, and I had sense in my head, and I could set the trap without being hurt. And I could get bait out of the trap without being injured. I was king of animal traps. I showed my classmates my skill. They were impressed, but not impressed enough that I felt I could make it my whole career. So I broadened my horizons and I diluted my goals, and that's how I got to be half of Penn and Teller. Here you go, Teller.